Joining me right now, Louisiana Congressman and House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Always good to be back with you, Maria.
So most schools are not opening for about a month. So we've got a couple of weeks. We've got the beginning of starting to get back to school. But really, the school is supposed to open within about 4 weeks. What's your take on getting schools open? Do you see the need? Do you see children needing to go back this fall, or do you think we need to watch the science?
Children need to go back to school and be in the classroom with their teachers, Maria. This is something that we've got to commit ourselves to making happen. There's safe ways to do it. I was with the vice president just a few days ago in Baton Rouge, and we had the systems of the LSU system, the Southern University system working together. They've got different protocols that they're putting out so that the students can safely come back to school. In Louisiana, all of our higher ed schools are going to be open. Our K through 12 schools are working right now on plans to reopen. And every state needs to be putting together their plans, not saying whether or not to do it, but working to figure out how to do it safely, share that data with other states, but ultimately get it done because the kids need to be in the classroom. We're seeing a lot of pediatric studies that show the damage that was done to children by not being able to go back to school at the end of the semester last spring. We got to work to get this done. We can get it done, and that's where our focus needs to be.
So, Congressman, do you think there should be funds in a new stimulus package in order to target schools in particular if they need help? You are going to go back for a couple of weeks, and then Congress leaves again on August. In August, do you think you will be able to get another stimulus package done before you leave for the next recess?
I know that there are a lot of negotiations, and whether or not there will be another package is still yet to be determined. But, look, whatever we do has to continue to be focused on helping people safely get back to work, helping schools safely reopen. There are a lot of federal dollars, hundreds of billions of federal dollars that are still out there that we've already appropriated, if maybe a reallocation or continuing to tweak like what we did with the PPP just a few weeks ago, where we took existing money and made it more flexible for businesses that are reopening. That's something that we can look at, maybe even more choice for kids in education. If their school's not reopening and there are other schools that are reopening, they ought to have that flexibility so that parents can send their kids to a school that's going to be able to safely take care of their kid. And there are a lot of other reasons why schools need to reopen. It's not just for the educational health of those kids. There's a lot of mental health that's involved in it. And then you also, if you've got parents that are working and sending their kids to school, you're also making it harder for those parents to go back to work as well. So there are a lot of reasons why we need to say, look, this country's done great things. I mean, we've taken on many challenges in the past, and we've tackled them because we said, let's figure out how to get it done, not whether or not to get it done. And that's what our attitude has to be. We have to serve our children, and we have to be focused on serving them. It would be a cop-out to say it's too hard, so we're just going to have kids stay at home learning again. That's not an acceptable answer.
How will voters, Congressman, how will voters react to this? We are on countdown to the November election, about 100 days. New polls show a majority of voters backing former Vice President Joe Biden. He's leading President Trump by 11 points in the latest Wall Street Journal NBC News poll and 15 points in the latest Quinnipiac poll. President Trump's approval rating there, 36%. And Biden came out with his economic plan this week, and it was about raising taxes, spending $2 trillion on a green plan. If Elizabeth Warren is his economic voice, we're likely to see a wealth tax as well. So anything you have in the bank, you also get taxed. Are people responding to this?
Well, thank goodness that Joe Biden's going to, have to come out of the basement at some point and let people know what he would do as president, because the contrast has never been sharper. What President Trump did to take an economy that was sluggish because of the Biden policies and turn it around and make it the hottest economy in the world. President Trump did it once. We're now obviously at a different place because of COVID-19. But who better to bring that economy back than President Trump? And then go look at what Joe Biden rolled out on his energy plan. I mean, Maria, you know energy as well as anybody. We had a great energy plan. We were one of the dominant leader in energy production before COVID, and we're going to be again, by the way. Joe Biden's plan brings us back to those policies of 10 years ago. And I called it Solyndra on steroids because it was Joe Biden who was the father of the Solyndra, the failed $535 million taxpayer subsidy to an energy company that failed because it was crony capitalism at its worst. That's what Joe Biden wants to do now, not with $500 million of your tax dollars, but with $2 trillion. That's not the direction we need to go. Higher energy costs are not what we need. President Trump's got a proven record on energy and on the economy. And frankly, the economy, Maria, I think is going to still be the biggest issue come November. It's not today. We're focused on getting through this pandemic. The president has done what the president's done with Operation Warp Speed. We're closer than we ever have. Not only therapies that are proven, but also a vaccine possibly being ready, which is never unheard of for any kind of disease, to be this close because of what President Trump's done with Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah. Congressman, I want to ask you about mail-in voting because a super PAC working to elect Joe Biden has launched a $24 million initiative to boost vote by mail in swing states. That same group already announced a $32 million effort to register new voters. Your thoughts on mail-in voters? How much of this election will be mail-in?
I think you're seeing an increased participation in mail-in voting, and every state gives voters a lot of different options right now to vote. But I still see a lot of desire for people to want to in-person vote. There's just something unique about going to the polls and going into the voting booth and casting your vote. And that option ought to be there for people as well. So, look, this is America. We like choices, but ultimately, I think you're going to see large numbers of people participating in this election. I think, by the way, the 8 million Trump voters who didn't show up 2 years ago because Donald Trump wasn't on the ballot, they're going to be showing up in this election. And that's going to bode well for President Trump and Vice President Pence's reelection. And look, those people are the forgotten men and women in states like Pennsylvania, where Joe Biden wants to ban fracking. It's not only Elizabeth Warren heading up his economic plan with all of this class warfare, but it's also AOC heading up his energy plan with things like the Green New Deal and solar panels on airplanes and all this foolishness.
I've wondered if he wanted to name AOC his environmental head, because, I mean, obviously they all want jobs in the campaign. Elizabeth Warren wants to be Treasury Secretary. So we'll keep watching that.
Joe Biden ought to name his secretaries and show who he would have run his government. Good being with you.
Yes, exactly, so that people understand the administration that they're getting. Congressman Steve Scalise.